It's time for our video. Today we are rigging one of the OGs of the slow jigging bird, and this is the Seafloor control arrow. Right, very good jig for swift currents, nice action, an institution really, and been around for a while. It's still relevant till this day. There's actually a lot of jigs that are based on this. Of course, they kind of modified it a bit and whatnot, but this is actually asymmetrical, sort of. Okay, almost asymmetrical jig. Actually, it is just a tad difference here, very minute, but one jig that we should be thankful for, because this is one of the jigs that started it all. All right, so let's give it some respect and rig it real nice. Right, so for this we're gonna use like owner 4.0 jigger light JF23s. So we'll take 4 of these. Okay. Now, let's do something with the hooks. What we're gonna do is we're gonna bend them in a bit. Okay. Just a tad bit. Just like that. Okay, so you can see the difference between the stock hook and the one that's bent. Right, so hooks are bent. Just use a pair of pliers. You know, just it's very difficult to actually do it like that, but all I do is just take a pair of pliers and then just hold it like that and then push this. Okay, and it has to be sort of like a flat one like this, because this has like a bigger grip than like a needle nose. So like that, and then just push it in. Be very, very careful while you're doing that, by the way. All right, so do that. The marine white with steel insert is what we're going to use for this. This is leftovers from like the one that we've been working with for a while. Obviously we have another or a few spools of that, but these are leftovers from an old one that we've been using. I mean, I've already thrown the spool, got ready for a new one. Still have a length we could use, so we'll use it. All right, so we're doing a locking method for this. So we have a knot at the end, okay? So JF 23s are actually light jiggers, light jigging hooks, okay? Light wire hooks. And what we want is for this to actually have light wire so that you have superior penetration. That's it. That is the idea behind that. Okay, so since the jig is actually gold, we'll tie this with yellow just to match it a bit. Doesn't have to. Okay, now I am tying this loosely because I want to position that right there. Okay, now I can start tying with some force. we are going to cut this. Okay, right there. Actually, okay, that's the length we want, because once it's folded out, we want it to be there. Okay, tie a knot where that placement was, just so we don't lose it, like so. And then we can cut this a bit with a tag, so we have a place where the pliers can bite and tighten it. All right, so now we're applying quite a bit of force. We're tying right there. Just so it's tight. Okay, we're basically making a sleeve that will not slip, so that this thing doesn't slip. This is where the lock comes in. Okay, what I'm trying to do here is give it wraps up until it hits the lock. That should come out really clean. All right, that should be enough. Okay, as you can see there, everything just kind of blends in. All right, here we go. Then all we have to do is just put some super glue on that, and it'll help protect everything. Okay. Have to clean our super glue nozzle. It's proving to be difficult. There we go. So plastic sort of just right up there. All right, so we don't need much, just enough to kind of cover things. So this bottle, or this small tube, actually has lasted for quite a bit. It just tells you exactly how much I'm using per jig, and it's really not much. So don't use too much. Now, this one we can set aside, or we can zap. But to make sure that it is fully covered, we take this. It could be a bodkin, needle, or in this case a wiper blade that I saved. Okay, that's it. Then, just to ensure that it is dry, we are going to spray it with accelerant. Okay. As soon as the accelerant touches it, that thing's bone dry. Okay, and for this particular one, you can see that it looks like it's encased in plastic. Now, you could just clean it up a little bit. If it's white, you could just rub it with your fingers and see if the white stuff actually gets taken off. And for this one, a little bit of it has been. You can see it's super, super clean. Now, what we need is to tighten this knot. So our hook puller comes in handy. That. Okay, see? If we did not do that, it would have slipped on us and it would have been trouble. So what we need to do is make the knot again. Okay. And I guarantee you this time, this will work. Okay. Here we go. Now, tighten it. As you can see there, that thing is not going anywhere. So we just cut this. Remember, there's wire there, so you don't want to mess it up. And then just touch it up with your torch. And that should be it. Now it's ready to be tied onto the next hook. Okay, here we go. Now, just position it where it should be. Be very careful. You don't want to stab yourself with the other hook. Now, this is a tad too long, so just going to adjust it until we get the desired length, like so. Now we can really torque down. And this is the part where you need to be very careful because the other hook is there, and that's how I actually get stabbed before. It's just not being careful. Okay, go up front. Now that we've done our, okay, there we go. Every time you go around, okay, you hold the hook and then you pull, and that locks it. Okay, go around again, like so, push and pull, and it locks it. Okay. What you want is for this to actually form a sleeve in front of your locking nut, and that basically serves as a stopper for this whole thing. As you can see, okay, the color changes. Okay, so you can see that that's light, that particular line right there, and then when you pull it, it blends in. That's how you know that it's tight. Okay, then right about there, you stop and we do our locking knot, which is we finish. You could also do half hitches here. Okay. And you can see the color is a bit brighter. It's not transparent yet. There we go. You'll know when you tighten it, that sort of disappears. Okay. All right, so that is tight. There's a bit of a few wraps that are kind of loose, but they're not that loose. It's in there tight. Then super glue to lock everything in place, just to protect the knot here from abrasion. Remember, in this type of scenario, this particular rigging here, because we're putting the wraps in very tight, that is not, the super glue will not affect, the super glue will not affect the super glue will not affect the strength. It's basically just covering this whole thing, fusing it. So it's like a top coat. Whereas when we're working on it and then we're actually putting the glue inside and covering the glue, that affects the structural thing. So while you're working and you're putting glue, that affects. But when you are just covering it, it's not. Okay, a few things to note. Okay, now we put some solid rings. For cousin Dan, so we need 2 solid rings. I'm gonna take some from my personal stash, of course. You don't want to mess with what else stuck. Alrighty. Okay, so for this particular one, of course, we will be doing the usual by going around the solid ring, twisting it, going back in, usual stuff. Okay. Go. Pull. Okay. Pulled it together. Now we have to pull individually. Just to ensure that each of the legs are pulled as tight as possible. Then sure that now that's it right there. Although I'm not happy with it because it's not aligned. So we have to align it. There you go. Perfect. So this is for the top hook right there. There we go. And then we put a longer length for this, of course. How about there? There's going to be a gap on this one because of the. See, the thing is, this jig actually moves super fast because it's super slim. It's slimmer than my the jig that I actually usually use for fast currents. This is one of the slimmest jigs in rotation. Right, so it moves super fast. Now, if you put something that's long here, it's gonna snag, and you can't actually make the assist hook here too long. Okay, so you have to kind of find a compromise. Okay, now it's time for the back hooks. And what we want is, alright, this is long enough. So we're making our knots way ahead of alright, so there we go. Let's tie that in there. Full. Okay. Okay. Now. Okay. Now there's a wire sticking out, so we just clean that up. If you don't clean this up, nothing will happen, except that from time to time you'll have weeds snagged on this thing. Just kind of looks dirty. So that's locked in place. What we do now is fold it. And then we insert our, actually, you know what? I'm gonna do this like that. Okay, so we're gonna do this now. The reason why I'm doing this way ahead of time is because it's gonna be a nightmare later. If we did it later. Because it's long, and this is basically when you would get in trouble. The long piece is the long lengths are gonna be the one that would get you in trouble. So for now, let us actually just wrap this. Okay, that's done. The reason why I'm doing this is that so that when we're building it, we actually use the ring to support the hook. If we don't do that, it's going to be very difficult. That edge is fooled. I just changed this. It's amazing how fast these things actually degrade. Alright. Now, okay, I know there's a tag and that tag has fuzzies, so there you go. Alright, so we're using this so that later what we could do is actually just put the hook here so we don't get stabbed, and we can tape it as well. Okay. Okay, so a few wraps there, and it is not tight, it's loose, and then after that you can tighten it. The thing with this is that if you've done it right, it locks, it doesn't slip out. Okay. If that's bothering you, all you have to do is just put it in the ring and it should be good. Okay. So for this, I usually do 2 passes, and that is once going back, once going forward. Okay. Now I'll go back halfway, like so, and then do my finishing wrap. Okay. We're gonna glue this all together later. That's fine for now. Kind of in a hurry to get this done, so you can see that it's already pointing in. Some super glue got stuck on the vise. It's messing with my vision, so there we go. Okay, now we can just put this there, and you see that it's just gonna hang out there, and it's not pointing up. When it's pointing up, that's when you get stabbed. For this one, when you hit it, it's just pointing down, so it's not gonna hurt you more. Now, for this particular braid, I need 5 wraps to keep it from sliding out. And even when I cut the tag, it's not gonna slide out. Okay. So I need this to be shorter. Now to tighten this, all I have to do is pull. Oh, okay, so. It takes about 5 wraps for this so that it doesn't slip, okay? Now, after that, you pull tight and that locks everything in place. Now, if I cut the tag, it shouldn't slip out. There we go. Now, I could put a few more wraps. Pull tight and it should hold. There we go, that's it. Now we can wrap, tighten. Now, there's already a lot of pressure from, ooh, almost stabbed me. There's already a lot of pressure from the bobbin. Okay, now, it's a matter of safety. Let's just tape this up. And we could actually also go faster if we tape this up. Okay, so just tape it up like that. The shorter this is, the easier to manage as well. Okay, so there we go. That's not gonna hurt anything. Okay, so now just to make that as compact as possible. Okay, now we can actually move fast. So while we're doing this, you can see that it's already a different color when we turn it, because there's so much pressure from the bobbin holder already. Now go halfway and then I'm closing. Okay. Okay. So pull that so that it's you can see there that is tight. And then now we can take this off because we need to glue it. So using masking tape, which is cheap, is for me essential because I don't want to get stabbed. That's A. And B, it makes the job go faster. Okay, so make sure to cover that. This, of course, needs to be covered. And when you've done it right, especially when you just leave it all in the open without getting in touch with moving air, this thing becomes shiny and it looks like it has a plastic coating. And that's what makes it really clean. But for us right now, we need to go fast because can't have you guys wait in a video. I often want us to show the finished product. Okay, you know what? This is bothering me here. There's a dried up bit inside. It's bothering me. And could actually clean it out with our pick, so that should do it. There we go. Okay, so this is done. What we need to do now is just accelerate things. All right. So that's it. Let's dry. That is done. All right. So take this off. You can see that fit in nicely. Now we can do a pull on this, just so it sets things. Here, there we go. That is it. Okay, now we just rig this up. All right, so we'll take two split rings here. And our then we'll see exactly how it looks like. I'm pretty excited for this. Okay. For seafloor control, the hooks are opposite the eye. So here's the eye. Okay. Always a safe bet, actually. You know, most of the jig manufacturers say opposite of the eye. But see, the thing is, the only sure way to do it is to see which one really points to the seafloor. And that would be in the water. So if you see that your jig, the side that's always facing you would always be the side where the hooks should be. Alright, so you can see here, that's pretty long. And a lot of people might think that it will snag, but it won't. Okay. So, let's see here. So, this is there, this. Okay, wow, that's, I'm surprised. Actually, the rigging is perfect. The measurements are actually perfect. Okay, so like that. Okay, that doesn't get any more precise. Okay, so there we go. Boom, right there. All right, so if you have questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. If you learned from this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to learn more, click that subscribe button. And when you do that, click on the bell. Alrighty, so that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Fastest Mist.